Yeah. Connect yourself with the word, so you're always online. Sonic can run fast with my lord, it's always on time. I was doing the word, but only to check off the list. My lord didn't do me like that, so why would I do him like this? It's going to push his agenda, even if the odds are stacked. Because he makes a way out of no way, and he's got my back. You feel the pressure, huh? That ain't enough. We fall down, but now it's time to level up.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are here for another Stormcast. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving and a day after, or Turkey Day, I should say. A wonderful Turkey Day and a wonderful Black Friday. We got my co-host here as usual, Trae Vito. Vito, how you doing?
I'm good. How's everybody else?
Doing well, doing well. Hold on, give me a second. I like that so much better. Okay. I like that much better. Let me change this color back to the color that I had it. Show a little magic. Get that turquoise all up in it. And that is so much better. There we go. I like that better. Cool. All right. So we got a lot to talk about today. Or a lot to show off as well. But we're going to start off like how we usually start off. Y'all see the dilly. Y'all know what the dilly is. There we go. Right, move it over. There, right there. We're going to start off with prayer, and then we're going to jump right into it. A little bit of a different icebreaker for you for today. So just a smidge of a difference. So Father God, thank you for our time, this hour or two that we have to talk about games. This is a safe space that you have created for us to talk about our love and our enjoyment over not only games, but music, entertainment, anime, everything that you have provided for us. So as we go through with our time on this cast, we just ask that you protect us and watch over us in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. So my icebreaker today, and I just lost it. I should have wrote it. I really should have wrote it down because it was actually a really good one. Dang, what was my icebreaker? Man, it was good too. It was really good. Oh, okay. So I think we've kind of talked about this one. What's up, Joycey? Matter of fact, let me get the shout outs out the way real quick. What up, Dark Void? How you doing, bro? Shout out what up to you? What up to Trinell, Exodia, one of our latest moderators, man. Really appreciate y'all holding it down for the set. RJ, what's good, man? I don't know. Joycey, you want to find a way to get Risky on here? I know you're probably the best at doing it besides Jay, and Jay's not here yet, so I can't make him do the work. So but appreciate you coming through, man. So Jay, there, man, just speak his name. He come through. There he is. What up, Jay? We were just talking about you, bro. If you could bring Risky over, he said he might have blocked him. Yeah, his conversations have been going kind of vacant lately. I haven't really seen him too much, so just let him. Just if anybody can get a hold of him, just let him know we care about him. We miss him. So our icebreaker. I can't do that. She said I can't do that. Risky is scared of me. What's that? And Friday, you don't know Baby D like I do. That's right. You better stop running away from that girl. So our icebreaker today is going to be. So I was sitting at the movies today with my baby cousin. It was her birthday. Shout outs to Alex. Love you, baby. And so the commercials came on, right? So I'm watching the commercials and everything. And it came to mind that we have now a Snow White movie that is a live action movie now. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't stand it. I can't stand watching all my childhood stuff. And I get it. But I still can't stand it. I get it that there's a new crowd that they're trying to, hit, and I'm not that one. It's not hitting the nostalgia for me. But they're trying to do these live actions for, like, Snow White now. They got the Mufasa, had the Lion King before, Little Mermaid. They're trying to do all that in live action. So my question is, we've got, Zelda coming as a live action, but like what video game or franchise would you like to see show up in a live action, as a live action, I should say? And that's for the chat too. What video game? Let me even put that in there. What video game would you like to see as a live action? Vito, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What would you? Hold on. Joyce is somewhere crying in the. I bet he said somewhere crying in the car. Um. So. What video game would you do?
I'm not sure actually. I think we actually talked about that over on the Vitoverse at one point, but I said all the Sony joints can be good live actions because technically, that's what they named it for.
Right. They already graphically and realism, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
to actually make something. That's fair.
Yeah. And then I guess recently I'll probably put Warhammer 40K in
Okay.
there. There's talks about the live action being made right now, so
I'm glad you're
yeah.
really enjoying yourself with that. I think that's dope. It's
Mhm.
always nice to, like, when you get into like a new franchise that you like was kind of curious about, but you never like really mess with, and then you just jump in it and you like, yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, definitely. Got an interesting story.
So Dark Voice says, believe it or not. Oh, I can't do it from there. I got to do it from this side. Okay. He said, where are you? Oh, it's because I clicked into this one. Okay. He said, believe it or not, I would like to see them try Eternal Darkness movie. I think that would be pretty interesting. To be honest with you, I think if 4D movies were actually a thing, just even like in a regular movie theater, I'm not talking about like at an amusement park or anything like that. I agree. I think that Eternal Darkness will make a dope movie. They can do some like psychedelic stuff. I remember watching doing the at Universal, I think it was, or Disney, and they were doing Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, or Honey, We Shrunk the Audience, or something like that. And like there was a piece where like the mice were supposed to be like coming through your legs or something like that, and it actually felt like mice, and everybody's
That
like,
was Disney.
okay, yeah. So I think they could do some stuff along that lines. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's like, some like you feel something brush against your arm or something. You like, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? Just to mess with. I think that would kind of be dope. To add a 4D, like it'd be like one of the first big 4D movies to come to just a regular theater. I think that would be sweet. Trinell said Arms and Splatoon. That would be interesting. I think that would be really hard too. Like how you would get the squidlings to like, like jump in and out of. That would be kind of hard. I think Arms would be a little difficult too. Because you have to kind of sell the not the realism of it, but you know what I mean, like that this is an actual live action. But I guess you could do it like, so how different movies still have like different art styles, even though they're live. So, like for example, I'm not saying you could use this palette, but for like example, like Sin City is all like black and white. You could add like a painted overlay on each of the characters, so there's a piece of realism to it, but like unrealism. You know what I mean? So then when you talking about like the fist springing out and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, just that piece, or they can just even go wild. It could be a story in both of these cases. It could be a story about a kid or something like that, like in a tournament for either of these games. You know what I'm saying? Dark Voice said, "I think Metroid would be hard to do, but it would be cool. I think it would be really cool. I think they could pull it off. It would be hard, but I think they could pull it off. Especially if it's in like her earlier years too. I think it would be something that could be pulled off. Duck Hunt, that's funny. Like we're gonna have the CGI talking ducks like meh, meh, pow. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd watch that though, because I have what is that, post traumatic PTSD. I have that with Bambi, like really bad. We've already talked about that, like really, really bad. When that music come on, that dun and they be getting all looking around, it like causes me so much anxiety. Like Bambi didn't ruin my even if I wanted to hunt, that ruined my experience. I never want to do that. Tracy said I had already had my live action Zelda coming, so everything else is gravy. I feel that. RJ said Grand Theft Auto. We're gonna get to that in a second. Red Dead Redemption and Bully could legit work as a movie or show. Now, Grand Theft Auto, I think Grand Theft Auto could it could work because I could see you putting a whole lot of comedians in it. I could see it could be a movie if it was a long that I need therapy. I could see it going along the lines like if we're talking like San Andreas or something like that, you can bring Snoop, you know what I'm saying? You can bring Game into the game. You can bring these different rappers and stuff like that. You could throw Kevin Hart in there for the silliness or whatever. That's kind of wrapped around the idea of Grand Theft Auto, you know what I'm saying? Would be better as a show. I can see that. I can definitely see that being better as a show. Because you can make it go multiple different places. I mean, you could get the Scarface crew in there and do it back in the '80s, like we did with Miami Vice. So it's plenty of ways that you can go about that. Now, what I really want is them if they did a GTA Detroit, and they can start off with the show if they really wanted to, but they're gonna have to add plenty of people from Detroit. That's not Eminem. That's all I'm saying. That's not Eminem. I don't need M. I don't need M in my.
You got plenty of those, especially with the new wave. Especially, right. I mean, if people really paying attention to Michigan hip hop right now, like there's plenty of. Like Eminem's not even a Detroiter, man. He's from St. Louis. He moved to Detroit. Nah. I wouldn't even put him on there.
Red Dead Redemption, I think, would make a good TV show. I think there's not necessarily too much to explain for it to be a movie, but I think it would make a really good TV show. Then that way you can get all the extras and goodies and stuff like that. Bully being a movie, they would hate that.
They missed his time. It should have been a movie a while back.
It would definitely, if Bully was a movie now, it wouldn't be the same type of Bully, I think. You know what I'm saying? It'd make you feel bad for the other people and all this other stuff. Like, even though he's trying to do good and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be trying to pull on your heartstrings more than being like, oh, Jimmy is that guy. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Exotic said, I'm actually glad the Zelda movie is going to be live action. Me too. When it comes to Nintendo, the only franchise that I think works as live action is Zelda and Metroid. I feel that. Metal Gear would be dope. Yep. Um, Mortal Kombat done right. Janelle said Punch Out into a movie. However, in this environment, some people might call it racist. I feel that. I think it would still work though. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think it would still work. Just don't have somebody ridiculous like Channing Nasty as uh as the main character. I would hate that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Exodia said Eminem is the only person. Don't be disrespectful.
He's from St. Louis.
Is the only person from Detroit. That's horrible.
Eminem is from St. Louis. Look it up. He's from St. Louis. We don't claim him. We don't claim him.
Scarface, the world is mine. Yeah. So for me, I had to give this a fair bit of thought. I actually think, to be honest with you, I think Xenoblade would not make that bad of a live action. I think that would be kind of dope, especially because we got specific Pacific Rim. So we've already, dealt with the live, the big mechs and all that other stuff and Transformers. So we already got the Transformer mechs and everything. Just like a big open world, you got aliens and stuff like that. CGI the alien. I think it would make for a really dope live action. Like Joycey said, Zelda's already being one, and I kind of wish that it was going to be, and now that it is, I'm real happy for that. So yeah, there's a lot of options there. Vito said gotta like all the Sony joints, but he ain't lied. God of War would be dope. God of War would be crazy especially if they do the over the top type of movie that matches like the over the top, fighting and stuff like that. He said I'm saying the public image of Detroit always involves. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Nope, I don't even agree with that. Cause like we forgetting Motown, we forgetting other key people that's the face of Detroit. Every time I think of Detroit, you know who I really think of?
Oh.
I think of Barry Gordy. Every time I think of Detroit, you know who I really think of? I really think of no, like dead serious, like for real. Like when I hear Detroit, I can't even think of it. To be honest, I think he's just a part of it. When somebody say Michigan, okay, yeah, then I'll be like, all right, yeah, I can see Eminem in that conversation. But nah.
Yeah,
when I think of Detroit, I think about Meech a little bit, just a tiny bit, because I think about him more in Atlanta, because he made more of a. He started. We know this now, but I mean, I'm talking about as far as like people actually knowing who BMF was. Mm-hmm. That was like an Atlanta situation where, and West Coast and LA situation, like that's where it was the biggest, and that's where they got caught at. So I always associated with that. But Detroit, I think of like all types of other stuff besides Eminem. I think about Aaliyah. Matter of fact, I think of Aaliyah first. Actually, that's actually who I always used to put as my Detroit face.
So Exodia, I could definitely see that, because if you go 15 minutes south of where I'm from, and you ask them, it's a little city known as Three Rivers, and if you ask them who is the best rapper, they as a conglomerate will tell you that it's Eminem, best rapper alive. And that's who they represent. That's who they represent, Detroit. I had a dude tell me that's my OG. That's not my OG.
Hey, look. Are these people from Detroit?
That ain't my OG.
Look. Are these people from Detroit that you talking to?
No, ain't none of them from Detroit.
That's it. That's the reason why. There it is. You talk to a person from Detroit, they be like,
"Whoa, time out, yo, slow your roll."
Trae Detroit.
The Pistons have gotten better, bro. Don't hate on my Pistons. I think they sitting at number 8. I
agree with you right there, Exodia. Yeah, them trash Pistons.
Mm-hmm. Nah.
Yeah, you already know it's Lake Town with me.
Yeah, I know. Vito is a Lakers fan. You know,
Bing,
we're gonna
bop,
leave it.
boom, bop, bam.
We're gonna leave it at
Saying
that.
stuff them on you wouldn't understand.
So anyway, so before we get to the main topic, we got a few things, a few of these trailers to go over real quickly here, and yeah, so there's a few. What happened to my stuff? Oh no, something's not showing up that usually shows up. Oh, that's why, because I'm in the wrong piece. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3 trailers, and then we'll talk about the main topic, which is a fourth trailer. But we're gonna start off with this one. This one is called Nine Souls, which looks very interesting. Now, I believe these are multi-plat games besides the last one, so I just found them on the Nintendo piece. So if there's something that you're interested in, just it's okay if you ain't got a Switch. They're going to be in other locations as well. Oh no, I took it off the stage. There we go. Can y'all all see that? Y'all can, but you definitely can't hear that. All right. Oh man, that's one thing I hate is climbing up a ladder and they shoot you. You ain't got no way of defending yourself. When's the due date? When's the due date? All right.
Hey, real quick, what Jay said talking about Martin, it was in Detroit. It did take place in Detroit.
Yeah, it did. It did. It did.
That is funny.
Yo, what up, Square? Appreciate you coming through, bro.
I was watching that yesterday, cuz I was up there watching it, and I was like, I can't believe this was up in Detroit. Like they based it in Detroit.
Yeah. So how you feel about Nine Souls?
Yo, is that like some kind of sequel to like Hollow Knight?
I don't know, because it looks dope, doesn't it? It looks kind of like along the lines of it. It's on some Naruto, you know, type stuff. I'm all for it though.
I'm really not too big on 2D platform type of games, so if it's not on Game Pass, I won't try it. But if that's on Game Pass, I'll try it.
And see, I don't know if it's on Game Pass or not. I just know it's on different platforms. May have to different. That's okay, bro. We just appreciate you coming through. All good. All right, so we're gonna get to our next trailer. Hope y'all had a great. Yes, we had a great Thanksgiving. Ours was wild, to be honest with you. Neon Blood is they spelled the word souls wrong, so that yeah, they spelled it SOL. I wonder why they did that. So our next one is Neon Blood. This one looked kind of interesting. Let's see what they're talking about. Okay, we get a lightsaber? Was that Cyborg? It's also on everything. So that's on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So first things first, I'm gonna say that it's dope that we got a black man as a main character. I think that's tight. I'm kind of curious though, because we didn't like see like a full like actual thing of gameplay. We just saw like some pieces, and it almost looked like it was a turn based joint. So I'm gonna have to look in to see if that's what it really is. But you know, I like the HD 2D look of it. And if they throwing a black guy as the main character in it, I might check it out. I'm gonna have to see how much it is first, but I might check that out.
Yeah, it's straight. I definitely like the art form of it. It's definitely kind of it's weird. It's like at one point it's pixelated, then the other point is like animated, then it's like the other point is like I don't know. It's weird. It's a nice little choice of art doing it kind of like that. So it looks interesting.
All right, for our third, why did I jump all the way through? Okay, for our third video, black man character slash woke. This one is called Neon Inferno. So we got two post-apocalyptic there we go cyberpunk style games.
Welcome to Neon Inferno, a new 2D action game which takes
we don't want you talking. Just show me the game.
In Neon Inferno, you play as an assassin for a criminal organization.
Kind of looks like Metal Slug.
Hits against your opposition, as well as dodging the even more corrupt NYPD.
Or like in the style of like Contra, you know what I'm saying?
Like Contra or like Metal Slug.
Wow, I literally just said that.
Jump and you stab. What really sets the game apart is its two-plane mechanics.
It's all headshots. Like watch me run.
Background. And I will let the scene play out further without talking.
Thank you.
Get a better idea of what that looks like.
Okay. And nothing worse than getting shot in the face point blank.
You know what I'm saying? This dude is shooting headshot. This like, dang, no body shot, just one-handed. Not even two hands.
Walking is just too slow, and you'll have to chase down your target on motorcycle.
I like the bike.
Headshot still. How can you drive and do a headshot? Like, that is weird, bro. Has some Batmobiles and all that.
Right.
In and out of the road lanes.
How you get to do it in the air with the headshot? Like, that's crazy.
Also want to avoid
he on a jetpack. Like, how you do that?
Now, coming up is a dual mini-boss fight, which pits you against both the helicopter that you saw earlier in this video.
Yo, when did NYPD get that type of
As you'll
Oh, this
see,
is future
that
stuff. Never mind.
also features a bullet time mechanic, which
They
lets
ride
you
around in
use enemy
Batmobiles and all
bullets
that.
bombs against them.
Intro. Oh, you hear him scream? What up, Brand Smith? Appreciate you coming through, bro.
Seems we finally tracked down our
Ninja
target.
Turtles just pop up
What
out of
happens
nowhere.
next?
You know what I'm
You
saying?
have to play the game to find out.
Cowabunga!
Thanks for watching,
That'll be your
everyone.
support.
And you can witness Beyond Inferno now on Steam.
My man's double flipped.
I wouldn't doubt they got it now either. They act like they got it now. They don't allow y'all to have guns, but they sure enough got Batmobile gun plated joints rolling around New York right now. Like that's, I wouldn't doubt it. That's the real Gotham.
They riding around with the plates on, the plated stuff.
Only at night though. Only at night. They don't want to show it during the daytime.
Like on some RoboCop type stuff.
Heck yeah.
So that one looked decent to you?
Oh yeah, it looked dope. It looked dope. Like again, like I'm not big on those. You know what I'm saying? My retro playing 2D platforms will always forever be, Sonic and all that other stuff. But anything new made that's 2D platform, I'm just kind of like, I'll try it if it's on Game Pass or something like that, where I don't have to like download it or play it on the cloud. But I'll definitely like give it a try. Really? Or something. It looked decent. You know, on headshots, I definitely want to see where that takes me. Yeah.
He ain't even crouched down.
Even his body shot was a headshot. Like that's crazy. Like how are you headshotting somebody that's in the air with a jetpack doing this? And you driving a horse one-handed. Like that's crazy, bro.
On some Matrix type stuff.
Now, are you talking about want to see some live action and stuff like that? That'd be made into a live action movie. That right there. That'd be a live action movie. I want to see how that is possible. John Wick and stuff. Just young Wick at that.
All right. So our third one our last one, I should say, before we get into our actual main conversation, part one. Or part two, I should say, is Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. This one has some nostalgia for me.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody knows that first level. You make that one roller coaster and 2 low rides. You also have to go for the rest of your life.
Boom, bop, boom, bop, bam. If y'all didn't know, that is Sandstorm at any amusement park.
Yep. Every time. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
He'll do one arm like this first, and then the other one, and the next thing you know, we. And here I am. Yeah.
So yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon is like straight nostalgia for me. That was like one of the games that I had on a non-gaming PC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was the game that you played. You know. and we didn't really have like people who wasn't like really into like PC gaming like that. Like that was one of the main ones that people talk about. Besides your Oregon Trails and all that.
That used to be very interesting. I'll see you and Granville, y'all be doing this, what I'm saying, playing that same game.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like I'd be like, oh snap, y'all making like amusement park, y'all making some coasters and stuff. I didn't realize y'all had like hours of doing that. So then I was like, let me try. And my coaster just it ain't doing nothing. I'm like, damn, but y'all just loop the loop. It's getting transferred over to the next one. Like, dang, cut. But yeah, no. Once you put some time in, those are some pretty cool builder games and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's definitely so. Like we have the latest one on this PC that like literally nobody touches. And I think it just kind of fell off because it got into the 3D realm. You know what I mean? It started to get, I won't say too much, but like it was just a lot for me. But like just going back and worrying about that grid space and all that, and setting up your things, I think that's something that definitely like Baby Sandstorm would like to get into, and just having her own amusement park so she could show off to to me or her mom, or even her friends or stuff like that. So that's why I love the classic. Just that freedom just to build and have fun without it being overly complicated. Yeah. So main topic. If y'all didn't know, y'all about to find out right now. So we've got this last video, and we're gonna watch it real quick, and this kind of spurred the whole keep that same energy. So if you didn't know, you about to know right now. Is that the one I want? Do I want that one? I do. I do want that one. Yep, I want that one. Yep. All right. Let me get it all set up for y'all. Yes. Here we go.
Yeah, turn that up, son. Yeah,
Like
there
that?
you go, son. Yeah,
right.
yeah, right there. A little more in my headphones. All right, let's get right there. One.
Wake up.
I'm out there and just hit you with the wake up, with the Zelda wake up.
I call you forth, the fourth breath I grant you, to live in this world which spirals against time. We are with you always, as long as the world shall live.
Pick up the virus, asbestos. Asbestos took over the virus. Okay.
I had this dream
Mm-hmm.
where a god that blessed brought
Yeah.
destruction.
Yeah.
So why can't
Asbestos.
human beings kill God?
Who? Well, I don't like that question. That was quite
All right.
a little disturbed with that question. Okay, little monkeys. Okay. Spaceships. Okay, little aliens. Okay. Little desert people.
That's definitely a Death Sword. Zoids.
Yeah. So this must take place in like what? Sumeria? Ancient Sumeria with the Anunnaki? Like this, like Anunnaki technology. Okay. Oh snap. What the heck is that? Now the question is this kind of like Power World? Is it a survival based game? It's looking like it's like a Power World.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it across his head. Okay, yeah, you just got to. Stupid. All right, now swing at it. You gotta hit harder than that. It's like the hits ain't hard. Like, and they just keep hitting his head. Like, there gotta be some other weak spots. Like, the back, you know where the little power, the battery pack's at. Hit the battery pack. Where is Aloy? Show this man how to hit the battery pack. Is that a spider? Is that an ice spider?
Yeah. Oh, they got a Liger.
He ain't doing nothing. Okay, no, I'll take it back. Oh yeah.
She let Liger do all the work. Now it's getting toe up. Fight back, Liger.
Okay, the ice didn't break by now with that big old heavy machine. Y'all should have been in the water fighting by now. Like that. What is that? Is that a beetle?
Dung beetle? Yeah. Ooh. Toe you up. Toe you up.
So this whole time I've been seeing the people doing this get jacked up.
Right.
like you got to show us some skills to make us like, dang, I want to do that. You've been getting jacked up this whole time. Okay.
Oh, he got the Liger Zero modifications.
Five times I erased you, yet still you won't silence up. How much
Asbestos.
more resurgence do you need, anyway?
Oh, big monk back.
It's fun.
There's some big loot.
That's funny.
Right.
Now.
Oh, Andre's up in the building, I guess. What up,
Yo,
Andre?
what up, Andre? Appreciate you coming through, man.
What you think about the? What you think about that trailer, Andre?
Wow. So, quite a lot to dissect, right?
Hey, let's get into it.
Okay. So
First and foremost, I want to say Super Saiyan Goku has been shown in Daima. So let's start off with there. I just had to say that. You know what I'm saying? Super Saiyan Goku has finally showed up. Number 2. Of course, the obvious is, where's Aloy?
She ain't here. I don't. Where?
Question is,
where is she?
who made this?
Oh,
Who made this?
she ain't in here.
Yo, whose man is this? Like, who made this?
I'm pretty sure it's the same people who made the Zelda one too.
What's the other one? Oh, you talking about? Is that No, that was Ubisoft.
No, not that one. The one that we showed off a while ago. That like took all the pieces from Zelda, like the whole, and it was like weird because it had it was like supposed to look like medieval, but then you was driving around in a car.
Oh,
And then it was messing around with like giraffes and all that. And he said Tencent, yeah. 10 one of the Tencent teams made it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I was like, I didn't know if it was same people that did make Power World or something crazy.
Oh no, I don't think they. Okay. If they trying to do something on top of that, you know, that's wild.
Or I didn't know if it was a Sony group. You know what I'm saying? That made it as well. The reason why I was asking, was it a Sony group? Well, could it be a Sony group, or is this like some kind of Sony situation? It's because this man is in a barbershop. Okay, all right. So I was wondering, is this like a meanwhile while Aloy's over there doing stuff over that way,
you over here doing something else.
Now you got the survival aspect of everything, because like you're pretty much like Superwoman when you're playing as Aloy, right?
Right.
So I was wondering if this is more like, okay, yeah, I like that Power World idea, with you playing like a survival game, but you build your stuff up, and you got you know what I'm saying, like you build up from the ground up. So it's just another situation in that world, but of course, obviously, it wasn't.
Yeah, it even. What up, Jack? It even it really, I think over anything, it favors Power World the most, right? Because it looks like you're doing, capturing your mechs or whatever, or the little animal joints or whatever.
Yeah,
but it looks
customize
like you
them and all that.
Upgrading and doing all that kind of stuff. So it's
somebody
crazy.
Somebody in here said, like a Monster Hunter. So
Because the fighting was like Monster Hunter. That's what threw me way off. Like, wait a minute, like you doing the Monster Hunter joint now, trying to do the attacks and all that other stuff.
So this is Horizon Monster Hunter.
It's got a little bit of. It looks like the
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite type deal. What's the other game? Ark, where you building your own place and doing all that other stuff. This is wild. I gotta say this first and foremost, because this is where the whole title of the conversation came from in the first place. Everybody who wasn't a Nintendo fan was all over the whole thought of, Pokemon need competition, blah, 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 blah. This looks like the grown-up Pokemon, da, 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 da. This the one we want, blah, 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 blah. But I don't hear y'all talking about this Horizon joint, though. I don't hear y'all talking about that. Keep that same energy. I don't hear y'all talking about the Horizon joint, though.
Because you know why? Sony did it to themselves
Mhm.
with the Lego joint, so they already got that. They,
Man,
which
they
I ain't saying it's the same thing with this is a grown up version,
No.
but at least they got Horizon.
no, that's like acting like what's his name? Like Red. Oh, that was different. Oh, that was different. Jack said, I'm with gameplay, but the visuals are too close. Imagine if it was better than Horizon. That would, yeah. So that's what's crazy. After watching this, I actually think this looks kind of dope. Like, even though it borrows from a lot of stuff, and I'm not even gonna hate on it there. That I think that whole idea of having your own, like when we first watched this at the beginning, I'm like, yeah, dang, bro, this is Horizon all day. Until they started getting into the fighting gameplay and all that, and then you see Liger Zero jump out of nowhere and take on the spider. You see you see all these death swords walking down the street, you know what I'm saying? And then in my mind, it's like, dang, you could actually, and then they show you the beetle, and then with the guns in the back, and I'm like, oh man, if you could get those. And then they show, and then they got the little thing looking up, the little person looking up at the gorilla. I'm like, yes, absolutely. That's the one I want. That's the one right there. That's the one. Let Kong out. You know what I'm saying? I summon Mighty Joe Young. You know what I'm saying? Come get these hands, bro. Yeah. So it's actually kind of surprising me, and I'm gonna float a little bit of this gameplay in the background. Let me put it on pause or put the volume down, but. Yeah, it borrows from a whole lot of things. Like even the little cube thing that was talking to him, that's Destiny. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
like the same way of looking, everything. That's Destiny, straight up. But yeah, they going back into this, like it's funny. It's almost funny, Exodia, because he said power is Pokemon with blickies. It's funny to me. Oh, Jack said, all right, bro. We'll see you in a minute.
All right.
It's funny to me that Pal World kind of set up that whole setup for like Pokemon and like be real close, but was like, nah, we not Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Like this is our own stuff. And you'd be like, but that Pokemon looks just no, that's different.
It's not.
That's Lucario.
It's a PAL.
That ain't Lucario. That's Anubis. They the same thing. Nah, he's green.
No.
What? You know what I'm saying? But now Tencent does this to the Power World creators, and they're like, bruh, you took our idea. Like this is the same stuff that we do in Power. Nah, that's not the same stuff y'all do in Power World. You collected machines.
We have the same ball. The ball mechanic balls.
Right.
No.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Is yours with electricity? Well, no, but then it's not the same. Then it's not the same.
Nothing to worry about. They won't compare us to you or me or you.
It's two different games. Y'all not even doing the same thing. Exodia said, or Jay said, Exodia, I want Power World without the Pokemon stuff. Just keep the cats. Yeah. So even looking at this piece, right? Like the actual gameplay of it is really that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's really not the only thing that's really Horizon about it is the aesthetics that they showed at the beginning, right?
That's it.
So I personally don't. I think what it was is, especially in that in the picture that they showed off for Pal World, it shows off. It looks like Horizon, right? So immediately everybody jumps on and is like, "Oh, this the Horizon clone." Even me included. Like, "Oh yeah, this the Horizon clone. This the Horizon clone." But then when you actually look at the gameplay, it's like, "Oh, well, dang. Well, actually, it's not. This is actually more like Power World with robots." You know?
Yeah.
But
Monster
but
Hunter
it's
Power World.
yeah, but instead doing the Monster Hunter thing. So overall, I mean, it don't look bad, bro. Andre said it would be Gate World at that point, or Gat World at that point. No, it can still be Pal World. You just call your pals your Gat. You know what I'm saying? I love this. I love this 9 blicky that's in my hand, man. I love it so much. Let me put it in my pocket. I'll summon it when I need it.
Yeah, nah, that would be crazy.
So yeah, so I think overall, let me check real quick and see what it's coming to.
Everything.
Right. What is custom decals on all your guns to give them different element powers? That sounds like more so on the lines of like Borderlands, some Borderlands type stuff.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Dun,
It's not a ripoff.
dun, dun.
Am I still here? Am I good?
No, you here?
Something happened. Okay, something happened to my computer. It just like flashed on me.
Oh yeah, we saw the flash. But you still.
So it looks like. Oop, that's not it. So it doesn't have anything specific as to what it's coming to. Oh, it's gonna be on. It's gonna be on PS5. In case you wanted it, mobile and PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So take that how you want. If you if this game costs a little less than Horizon. Oh, my camera did come off. Dang.
Yo, that was crazy. Yeah, no, you like paused, like you.
I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah,
I can move. You can't move.
Yeah, dang. Okay, hold the stream for me for 2 seconds. I'm gonna go and then come back. Hold on.
Well, that will be it for the Stormcast this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed yourself. My name is Trae Vito, also known as Vito the Don Father. Hopefully Sandstorm will come back. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I just had to leave
up.
the room. Nah, I had to leave the room and then jump back in. Yeah, the whole computer just like flashed. It wasn't like anything just turned off.
I saw I saw it flash. It looked like it flashed. It looked like it looked like you got a picture taken, which that's what happened.
Yeah. So any of y'all have a problem with this game, remember, like my man's was laughing over here in the corner. Keep that same energy, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that same energy.
Yo, what was the last movie he was? Oh, okay, never mind. I know what it is. Cause I was looking at him, I'm like, dang, what was his last movie he was in? He was pretty good in too.
Yeah.
That was 1992. The Tyrese movie with the riots that happened in LA. Yeah, that was his last movie. That dude behind you laughing.
All right, so On to our next topic, and then hopefully Jack.
I got a topic too, just a real quick.
Oh yeah, no. Throw that topic in first.
Oh no, this has nothing to do with video games.
Oh, okay. All right. So, 2024 has been a interesting year to say the least. We've gotten some interesting games that came out this year. Some games that we thought was going to make a splash that didn't make a splash. Some games that I feel like kind of hit, and some games like, dang, remember when we was excited about that, and then it came around, and then we kind of forgot about it. Even when it released, we were like, oh, yeah. So one of those things. So like overall, I feel like 2024. I ain't gonna say it's a miss year. I feel like it's a what do they call that in sports? A building year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it was our building year. For gaming, just gaming in general.
Okay, so that I gotta play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
The last 5 years, probably even plus, has been a building year. So like, when we gonna get to like really like coming out with the games we want? Besides, you know what I'm saying, like the Zelda game or whatever like that came out or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been rebuilding for every single last system. Like what are we waiting on though?
I was gonna say, because 2023 I felt like was the hit year.
Nah, because you think about it too. You think about it. Hey, 2023, was y'all not talking about the Switch too?
We were, but we was also talking about Zelda, and we got that. Harry Potter, and we got that.
Yeah, but we got the games and stuff. We got the games, but I'm looking for the Switch 2 everybody's talking about. On top of that, I'm looking for well, you know, Zelda was straight. You know what I'm saying? That Harry Potter was straight. But actually, you know what? I was playing it the other day. We should have did what we playing and stuff like that. I was gonna tell you. I was gonna tell you, bro, like, as I play this game again, it's really not that special besides Hogwarts.
No, it's not. And I've been playing it lately, and I'm like, it's a lot more bare bones than we thought it was. But that, I think, works for it because that starts off a good platform for where you can build from that point, right? Because it was mostly, I've realized, and I think like you, the biggest, most important part of the game, and I think we even talked about this before it even came out, you had to get Hogwarts right. Like, the aesthetics and the feeling of being at Hogwarts, that like was important. You had to get that piece down, because if you didn't get Hogwarts right, if the pictures wasn't moving while you was walking away, and you know what I'm saying, and you didn't see students everywhere, and there weren't secret hallways or passes to doing this and that, then it wouldn't have hit the same. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, gameplay wise and all that other stuff, it was very
it was dope. I was not expecting the way they had the combat systems and stuff like that, because we still don't know what that spell is. When you hit somebody, when you what spell is that? Like,
I have no clue.
Like, it just and you do that automatically. Right. But it's still pretty cool. I'm not asking any questions. It works. You know what I'm saying? So, but then like I'm playing as a Hufflepuff again, and you know, it does the. I took a couple of pictures too. It does the and I'm saying this because I'm about to bring up like what's
what up, Jack?
What's going on, Jack? No, I don't know what he just said. What did he say?
Oh, you silent.
Can you hear me?
Oh, no. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, maybe it was just far away.
But I went through the Azkaban situation, and I heard. Well, first of all, the Azkaban situation, it was pretty cool. But of course, it's just a hallway. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, you got your cells and all this other stuff, and it does give you that Azkaban, like, oh snap, like somebody in here crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it gives you that feel, but I say at the same time, it's like, oh no, it's definitely limited. I definitely wanted to like explore around Azkaban for some reason, you know what I'm saying? Just a curiosity.
See how crazy it is.
Yeah, but with that being said, though, they are saying that there is a DLC coming out that probably has something to do with Azkaban and some type of mission, some type of ministry situation going on. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, they're basically, like you said, it serves as a building block. And if they can improve on certain aspects and certain things, I mean, it's their first go around, they pretty much got it right.
Yeah.
If you're not just doing your exploring, like I explored the whole lands and stuff like that. If you're not like doing every nick and cranny like I did, and you're just doing the story and following the story, okay, I can kind of see, okay, yeah, it's still a pretty good game, but at the same time, once you take it, like me and you, we explore. So there's only so much you can do with that big of a platform, and what else, like how much do we really know about the Wizarding world? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Surrounding Hogwarts. There's only so much you can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So definitely though, that was a decent little situation last year. You know what I'm saying? I think what explored my curiosity as far as like different lands and different parts of the lands would have been the Zelda game or whatever.
Yeah.
That pause, tickle my fancy on, you know what I'm saying, just exploring and what's that over there, or the detail in that, or this and that, even though it's not like it's Nintendo, you know what I'm saying, but it's not all like whatever, but it served its purpose. It gave me like, oh snap, I can do that. Oh, I can go over here, I can go over. So I mean, yeah, we had some, but still at the same time.
Yeah, because we also have.
I think honestly, as a person, a PlayStation owner, and a Xbox owner, and a Switch owner, you know what I'm saying, I think I'd be looking for. You late on that, Exodia. Very late. But as you know what I'm saying, multiple like console owner, like I guess I'm waiting for certain stuff for this system. As I'm waiting on this, a system that or a game for a system I have probably will pop up like Zelda. You know what I'm saying? I was not planning on buying it. You know what I'm saying? That just popped up. You know what I'm saying? Because I was waiting on stuff. I was like, there's nothing else after this. You know what I'm saying? So, in a sense, I feel like this last 5 years, gaming in general have been on a pause. Even though Nintendo does, you know, they come out with their stuff. And, you know, you got certain games, you know, here and there. But it's not like, for me, it wasn't a back-to-back. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole flooded. And I'm waiting for, I missed those days. I literally, like, what, the last time we've had like a real flooded year of gamings will probably be what? Before 20. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute. If it wasn't 22, the one that comes to my mind, of course, is 17. But
17.
Yeah. I was about to say 16, but I'm probably thinking 17, 16 or something. Something probably was.
Yeah, 17 was wild for everybody, actually.
But for me, like, it's just for me, it's been feeling like a break this whole time. Well, you know what I'm saying, like a rebuilding situation. And I think also too because we're waiting on the Switch 2 now. Like I said, look, Sandstorm, you're the one that's leading my Switch excitement. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming to you for the information on that. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm waiting. And shout out to Andre. Yeah, he had to go ahead and, you know, swallow the pill that there was no Switch 2 announcement this month. November, and we're at the end. Like today is November 3rd, 30th, and yeah. So hey, what did I say? Did I say December?
Yeah, because I think you were originally in December with Juice, but then Juice turned around and said January. But I'm starting to think January because that's when we got like the actual like talk about the original Switch, right? So we got the trailer in October on This Is What It Is, and what I'm thinking is like if it's a Switch 2, you really don't need to tell anybody, hey, this is the Switch 2. Look what it can do, because it should be, for the most part, a lot of the stuff that the original Switch did, you know. And if you did have additional stuff, then you just put that stuff into the big video. You know what I'm saying? This is the price. This is what it does differently than a Switch. This is what we worked on. This is what we got removed. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to put that in a video. So it may possibly just be January.
And that's what I was trying to explain to people. Like, even though I understand where a lot of like content creators were coming from, or people talking about on X or Twitter, they almost make gamers sound stupid. Like, I understand back in the past to where you had to lay out like a full rollout of, hey, this is what a console has to do, this is this, and then we got to show it off, and then we got to wait for developers to get games ready, and then we'll do this big launch situation. But if anything tells us how technology and how little of time you really need, look at phones, look at computers, look at tablets. Like, they'll announce it in, let's say, September, and it'll be out in November. Like, really, you don't need that much time to really get it off like that. Because even if you go to like Nintendo, may be a little different because they're actually bound to give you something different with the console. But Sony and Microsoft are pretty much the same system, just upgraded graphics and maybe one or two features. Like, there's not much there. But I don't think you need that much time, because in all honesty, if they went and said, okay, January, this is what it does, this is what it looks like. Wow, but it's going to release in March. Between that time, we're going to give you Treehouse Lives. We're going to do the tours like we did with the Switch. So these are the tours within your town. So if you're in these areas, come try it out. Come see what it's about. We'll show off these features. You can do a full press run. Like, they don't need the media as much as they used to need it. You know what I mean? Because not that Wii U situation, like, they needed all hands on deck for people to even listen to them. So now you know what the Switch is. All I have to do is, one, give it the simple name of Switch 2. Like, that solves all of your problems when it comes down to marketing. But once you realize it's a successor, the casual crowd will say, okay, why do I need to pick this over this? Usually for the first 3 years, game-wise, there is no difference other than graphics and maybe performance. But in reality, you can keep that same console because it's going to be cross-gen stuff for usually about 2 or 3 years. But I don't think you really need to have this huge 6-month press run. And even with some that were mentioning, money, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of people I know that go straight to a firm to make their purchases. So that's a payment plan similar to phones. Even with Verizon, if you're with Verizon, they have payment plans for Xboxes. Like, there's ways to get these consoles and not have to pay it up front. And so the money aspect is gone. Marketing, they have full control of that. Nintendo Directs get streamed the most. And then, like I said, these Treehouse Lives are top notch. So you can show me the games, you can show me what this does. Make that like a whole 2-3 day event. Like, make it your own E3. Make sure you got third-party developers up there. Make sure you got some of your first-party bangers up there. Enough time to showcase what this thing does. And then by the time March comes, even put it on the back end of March. Like, I know what I'm buying then. Like, there's no question about it. Because if anything, the first people that tend to show up are the enthusiasts anyway. There are a few casuals that show up because people tell them about it. But in reality, the enthusiasts show up day one. And then that's where the game ranks and the game spots and IGN start popping up to kind of give you previews of it. You got channels like SpawnCast that do like the breakdowns of the console. You got those that's like, hey, how far can I drop it to break it? Like there's gonna be content around it and really showcase what it does from different parts of it. And you'll have your Marcus Brownlees and your unbox therapies that have millions of viewers that show up. Like it's gonna be there. This isn't the same day of where people wanted Nintendo to go away. Everybody's going to want to hop on this bandwagon. You're going to have new channels created behind it. So they don't need that much time.
Switch 2 group, Switch Force 2.
Right. I'll say Switch Force was born from the whole Switch thing. But in reality, you don't need that much time. You really don't, because it's not going to be this whole over the top switch up, no pun intended, situation. So.
Right. Joycey said, my personal guess is reveal in January, presentation in March, release May, June. I'm not gonna say it'll be a quick turnaround. I'm holding on. I'm holding on super tight to the fact that tax season is the best season.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's the most lucrative season, especially if nobody else is dropping during that time. It's like that's like easy money. So I do agree. I think that January reveal / price announcement, all that, I think that's all gonna get out in January.
Yeah.
But I still, like you said, like that March, because I think February, if I'm not mistaken, that's when we did the Chicago joint.
Yep.
And got the actually, play the Switch on our hands and do all that whole hype up thing. They can do that again. It's easy. So then they drop in March, and I would even say, wow, got my beard stuck in the pen. I would even say too is that to go along with what you said, like the whole Affirm thing, like even money back in 2017, how to get money in 2017 ain't even the same on how to get money now, right? The Farm has their own cards. Like almost every place that has a loaning service now has their own cards. You don't have to go to a specific Amazon or anything like that in order to get it, or to get your item or whatever it is you want. They got credit cards, so you could take it anywhere with you. So it's just like the accessibility to be able to buy something now ain't even the same. So
no, not even close.
Yeah, that turnaround will be wild. And I think it's also already backed by the hype that people want it anyway.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's already there. It's already fresh on people's minds that it's coming. So it wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, Nintendo did this out of nowhere. No, like we're just sitting back waiting to see what happens. And if you really think about the Switch itself, like, yeah, we saw it in October. But when did we get the whole breakdown of what it does? Like, when did they do that full reveal? Was that January?
Yeah, it was January. Yeah.
So in reality, 2 months.
Right. The beginning of the year.
Yeah. So I mean, that October was like, all right, cool. This is what it looked like, but you didn't know what it did. You were just speculating. And then January they gave you the full breakdown. And then it was out in March.
Yeah, because what we didn't know in October, what we found out in January was that one, it was a culmination of all of their systems put together.
Yeah.
Two, it had the HD Rumble set, which was a huge miss, but it had the HD Rumble piece to it. And we didn't even when we were told that, we didn't really understand what it was. Like, how do you HD Rumble?
Right. But that's why those stores were so important. You had it in your hands. Yeah.
And then we found out the games and price point. So but like you said, all of that we don't have to worry about with the trailer. They're not going to do that with the trailer. It's easy. I mean, they could still do that with the trailer, but it makes more sense for them to have a press conference. I'll also say this too. It makes sense for March to be that time because like last year, or like the Wii U to the Switch, they wanted some positive numbers at the end of their physical year.
There you go.
And regardless of what anybody thinks, that end of that physical year is not going to be in an upward trend. It's going to be in a downward trend for Switch. So to have a Switch 2 and be like, okay, well, our Switch numbers are going down this way, but while we got something going down, we also got something going up. Which also too incidentally could make that downward trend go back up, because if you decided you're gonna put on a discount, that puts an upward trend. So that's why I think going past March and all that, starting their next physical year with a positive trend, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Let's see. Dark Void said, plus we might be dealing with price increase with the tariffs that's coming, so Switch 2 may be more expensive than we think. Possibly. I see them revealing it between tomorrow and early January. People forget Nintendo is far, far different than Nintendo back in 2016. It's so far different that I feel like that was the rebuilding, like Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like a new coach came in 2016, which we know he came before that, but a new coach came in 2016 and was like, you know what?
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. You on the team, you on the team, you on the team. This is how we doing it. Like this is the change up right here. And they made that move. But even them at that year is way different from how they are now and how they move.
For sure.
They don't even do directs the same anymore as they used to back then. It used to be, here's what's next here's what our itinerary is, blah 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 blah, and then they would start up from the top and go to each one. Now they're just like blah 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 zing, blah 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 zing.
It's a whole different thing, and at this point, we got an idea of what we want. We have no idea what they're going to present. All we've had is rumors and these leaks and these models that people have made up here and there. But in reality, we know it'll probably end up just being a bigger, better Switch. If anything, I would expect that the dock is a little bit different in that nature. But I mean, we'll see. I just don't think you require a lot of time to really explain this. Like you look at Apple. Apple will go through an event and showcase 3 different things, and the iPhone will be the last thing they showcase. And people are like, cool, I'm gonna go get it. Like, like they just gotta show you what the software changes are. So I don't think they spend a lot of time. And if all things are true, hey, our Switch now is 8-inch screen and the Joy-Cons are bigger. They don't slide in anymore. They're electronic now. And we have, I think people were saying that there's like a capture button or a C button down there. So show me what that does. All right, cool. Now that we got the hardware stuff out of the way, bam. All right, cool. Here come the games. Like, this is what the games do. We showed you what it looks like. In reality, you already know how to work it. It's still going to function the same way. We may show you a brand new Pro controller. But outside of that, we're here to show you these games. And I'm interested more into how they do that, because like we've mentioned on the WingiT podcast before, Nintendo's never been the one to say, all right, cool, our stuff is at 4K or it's right. Per second. So if this DLSS thing is really the real deal, they still kind of have to show games that look great, because they're not going to rest on graphics and frame rates.
Yeah. I think so too. I agree with that. Joycey said, save your money now if you haven't already. Approximately $400 for the system and another $200-ish for a few games. I really see it sitting at $4. If that's what we're talking about, I really see it sitting at $4.
Which is scary, because does that mean that the original is not getting that price drop?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because that'd be weird.
I'm gonna say yes. And it won't get the price drop until that holiday.
Okay.
But then that's also weird, right? Because you can't price drop your new main system down along with everything else. So that means there's even a further gap between the new system and what you got now. So
yeah, that would be, I mean, if it's that big of a jump, all right,
Right.
cool. We ain't got to drop nothing. Like,
Right.
you
right.
continue spending that $350 for that OLED, but for $50 more.
Right. For another $50, instead of buying a video game, you can buy a whole nother system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I just want to see the dock situation be a part of this. I mean, because I think when we got the OLED, that's when they started doing firmware updates for the dock.
Yeah.
That I didn't understand.
Yeah, because they also, I think realistically it was actually for the Ethernet port.
Probably. Okay. Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Dark Voice said, "Now let me ask you a question. I think we were kind of alluding to this. Do you think the dock is going to have more computing power? Because I often wonder how is DLSS going to be implemented. Realistically, if I was being super honest with you, DLSS doesn't need to be implemented unless it was really on the TV in the first place. Like having that in your hand, doing that extra computing power, I still think it's still going to be 720p. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1080, but 720p is that good, is a good solid point, especially when you're talking about battery and longevity of the system. So yeah, I think having some sort of component that activates DLSS while you're when you're docked, I think that'll be a dope idea.
Yeah, I mean, because if DLSS is on the chipset, it can be done even in handheld. Yeah, that might be a beast on that on the handheld, because we're talking what, 2 or 3 hours now.
Yeah,
for like streaming games. I don't, unless it's just that efficient. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the ins and outs of it. As I always say in my videos, like, that's a shadow thing. But when it comes down to it, I don't know what it requires. So unless Nvidia got something.
What did you say?
Wow.
Talk to me.
My bad.
I always say that's a shadow thing in shadow.
My
bad.
It just happened like that. Back to your regular scheduled program. I'm sorry.
that was crazy. That was crazy
Okay,
and effective.
So perfect. So to set up what we're going over with Dark Voice saying, if we're talking about DLSS for the successor, right? Would it make sense for it to be doable on the handheld, or just something that's done in the dock because the dock now has components to do said DLSS?
If you're asking me that, it'll happen on dock as well.
Okay. And that wouldn't be like a battery killer?
No. So what'll happen is the routine will run locally on the shaders on the tensor cores on the system itself while you play. Okay. Yeah, would that increase shader count? Yeah, but the game itself will too. So, but you're talking about something that Nintendo's engineered for the last 5 years maybe.
Right.
So
right.
They already know what they're gonna do. They'll just downclock whatever they end up coming out with. Because they'll test it and burn it in just like they did for the Super Mario Odyssey demo, the Tank of Fish or whatever demo. They'll just run that and see how long they can battery test and stress test or whatever to figure out what numbers they want to come up with, and then go from there. So if they have to downclock to get there, if they have to take some memory modules away to get there, whatever they have to do to lower the voltage a little bit, that's what they'll do. Okay. But I don't think it'll affect DLSS though. The only problem that would have affected DLSS during the Switch Pro rumor days was the internet requirement, but that's no longer needed now for the DLSS 3 features, which are heavily rumored to be in there.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, in that case, I mean, you're looking at possibly just having a dock as just a pass through again.
Yeah, again. So,
yep.
Which realistically,
I don't think it'll be needed. And if it was going to happen, Nintendo could have done it like now. Like there was something I was looking at earlier where there were a couple of people that were like they're modifying their Switch, and all they did was just increase the clocks on it, and it solved a lot of the frame rate issues.
Yep,
because it's just memory clock. So the system is capable, but Nintendo, they literally retarded the system down to where they made sure, hey, this thing is a tank, and as long as you have it, you never have to worry about TDP issues, and you'll have it forever. Right. So yeah, my the entire SoC outlasted the battery in mine, so I'm going to get a battery replacement soon for my OG one. But if they made it last that long, like they're going to continue to do the same for the next one. So that appears to be the focus, and I would assume they do the same thing. They take what you would expect from this processor. I'm guessing it's going to be a cross between Orin and Orin with the Ampere GPU and also a Lovelace GPU. So both of those, think a Ampere GPU, but with Lovelace instruction sets, and that's how you end up with the DLSS 3 features. And they'll do that. I mean, since Nintendo owns all the subroutines and NVIDIA is their partner, they can do whatever they want. So, like custom means custom.
So, there you go. Yeah,
but I think it can happen for sure. Definitely docked and undocked. And I mean, it's just easier too, because now guess what you can do? If you're a 360p, handheld or whatever, right? Now it doesn't have to be 360p handheld. That can be upscaled to 720 or whatever the size of the screen is.
Right.
The scary part about it, because once again, the thing that people clamored they want Nintendo to do, they didn't have to do, because software stepped in to fix quote unquote problem they had with Nintendo. Which now the platform of choice that they have is currently doing the same thing. So it's like they have the brute force, but then also now they're going the AI route as well. So that's wild.
Isn't it? I think, and just for a point, isn't it wild that we thought that we had to brute force our way to try and get these numbers that we're not getting.
Yeah.
And just waiting a couple years, and now you don't even have to do that.
There you go.
There's a technology for it.
So I said that in a tweet earlier today, right? If a game is known to be memory bound, what do you do as the developer to resolve that issue? That means that at some point your game is over budget with regard to memory. Like everything that's in that game is being loaded too much at one time. So now your frame times are higher because everything needs to be collected and staged and moved here, there, or whatever. And all the shaders are loading and loading assets here, there, and the other. I mean, if you didn't have to do that, if you didn't have those long ping times for certain frames, then it wouldn't be an issue. So you need to figure out a way to adjust how your renderer is establishing these things, or you got to cut the fat. Like, nothing's going to look like the artist rendition anyway. That's ray traced. Everything's ray traced, not the piecemeal ray tracing that's happening on these other consoles.
Right.
So it's not just the arm is reflected or the floor is everything's reflected in the final render. So you're always going to end up having to cut some corners for whatever the in-game asset's going to be. So I it's just strange to me that we're even dealing with this. Like, year of our Lord 2024, like these were problems that we knew the answer to in the 6th generation.
Right.
So, I mean, the problem only scales with resolution. So all the problems that you had in 6th generation, all the corners you had to cut to make things work now, you have engines to help you now, right? You have middleware to help you, and it's highly scalable. So whatever asset you make here, you can just kind of make it work there because it'll do all the work and talk to the low level, whatever, from there. But the part of designing the game and making sure you don't have bloat is still going to be there.
Right.
There's nothing to fix that. Well, some of the rumors are that some of the new game engines are going to be using AI to help development, which I don't like. That's going to be weird to me because that means now you're going to start yeeting jobs from companies. So
because at first when they talking about it just being for dialogue and helping with that, we already knew what that was going.
That's going to lead to code too now, because if I can like I'm in the middle of creating some stuff now, some containers for some development stuff on the back end for some stuff that I want to connect to like my social media feeds and stuff like that, right? Then I looked and I'm like, hey, so I can use the REST API to talk to this website to do this thing, whatever, blah blah blah. Chat GPT, I need to do this, and this. It pulls out the entire dump of everything that I need. I load it into the browser. The browser knows exactly what to accept. I do a handshake between this web server and this web server. The database links, everything shows up. So what is going to happen at that point where like you literally don't need developers now? And now there's a software lifecycle that would check the AI too. So the AI would check the AI. So whenever you do a request or whatever, you don't get anything wrong, or you don't even need to do the request anymore. It already knew what the answer was before you even tried to do anything. So the thing you're trying to ask, you don't even need to ask it anymore.
Right.
So it's getting to the point where you go to Google and before you even click, just don't click. Just don't click, because whatever you were thinking, it's already there.
Yeah.
So, I don't like that.
Yeah. Really, really. And all it's doing is it's like, hey, I know your entire search history and I know everything that you typically search for. And in 1/1,000,000th of a second, I did all these operations before you move your mouse to where you were going to go to.
That's what I tell people all the time. Like, the things that you fear, you're feeding it. Like
all the time.
You're feeding it all the time. They don't have to come and ask you for anything. You're giving it to them for free. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And don't think it's not also happening on the back end for middle management too.
Yeah,
you think they're not like at a mass scale. You're talking about a company that has like maybe 200,000 employees or something like that globally. You think at a mass scale they're not literally targeting everybody and doing like, hey, well, collectively these many people are shorting these many hours here, or collectively these many people over here are not closing contracts over here. Like, they're getting reports every day now. So it's just two-way street.
Yeah, I think Dark Void and RJ were on a key point, which begs the question: how far in advance did Nintendo and Nvidia say, like, all right, cool, this is where we're going, this is the vision, stick with us for both this generation and then next? And now we're here, because I feel like the social media likes to think that things just happened yesterday. Like, these are businesses. Like, they have to talk about this over a span of time before they even press the button. So, I mean, I know DLSS has been around for a minute, but ultimately, I'm like, was this Nintendo's game plan from jump? Because they never wanted to go that power battle. And now that we know that the software is here, it's either A, you got crazy lucky, or B, you had a
somebody told you something.
Right.
It might be a little bit of
AMD.
Might be a little bit of from both columns, because before that it was IBM, right? They did a 10-year deal with them. So that's 3 consoles cycles right there. And before that, they were doing various versions of Power VR and Ricoh CPUs from copiers, believe it or not. So it's whatever they can get cheaply then at the time. And they want to continue using that product over and over again. They use the NES CPU as the sound chip in the SNES. Like, they don't waste anything.
No.
So that's part of their mantra. That literally is their tagline. That's their company. They take withered technology or whatever and find new ways to make it usable going forward. And every now and then they become cutting edge a lot in 64. And even N64 is just like, yeah, you know what though? We cut down that reality code processor a lot. Like, the original one is supposed to be 266 megahertz, and they released one that was like 93 megahertz or something that effect. Like, they downclocked it a lot. And they took a lot of the co-processing and shading out of it. But they had to make it cheap. They made it fanless, and you press button, it's on. Like, there's no loading shaders, no, like, your in-game go. And that was their goal, and I think that's gonna be their goal going forward. Even with Nvidia, they're just like, hey, we caught you when you were struggling to put these in cars. So what we gonna need you to do is give us everything you got for the next 10 years.
That's true.
At a discount.
Yeah,
it's Black Friday, baby.
Because it's not like the Nvidia Shields were doing anything, as far because they were really trying to get into that gaming pocket from the Android standpoint. Like, I remember them things selling for like $200 to $300, and they were like, "Oh, here's the controller, and here's the Pro version," and then the Switch uses the same chipset, and it's like, "Oh, okay." Hey,
and let's not get twisted. It was a two-way street for Nvidia too, because Nvidia stock shot up immediately about that, and people started looking. So now in luxury cars, there's a lot of Tegra chips in a lot of those luxury cars, doing all the AI stuff, doing all the local machine learning stuff. So even if you don't see it like on the dash, the Mick and the Tim that talks in between, like, for different components inside your car, NVIDIA, those are Tegra chips doing that stuff. So it's an interesting relationship, but I think Nintendo's going to do 10-year, and we'll see Yeah,
if
we'll
they
see.
re-up on it afterwards.
Yep,
Right.
and then there'll be a T something else for whatever they're
Yeah.
working on next. Who knows?
Because if we're looking at the software, is what AMD, Nvidia, and then Sony now. So I mean, really, you stick with Nvidia. They're the ones that's really leading this whole thing right now.
Yep.
So because I saw people complaining like, oh, Nintendo is cheating because they're using Nvidias and Sony made theirs from scratch. That's why it's. I'm like, oh,
What?
okay.
But Sony had Nvidia in the 7th generation. So
and then in the 8th generation, everybody had AMD.
Yeah.
It was literally everyone. So,
everybody.
Yeah,
Like it's
they had
cool
their
they're
chance.
making it from scratch, but man, that's gonna be some work.
Yeah,
like
they had
that's
their
gonna be some work.
Yeah, that's wild to me. Yeah, I think the Nintendo Nvidia joined team has been lucrative, right? Especially because, to be honest with you, Nvidia really wasn't that prevalent even in the 7th generation, were they?
No, it was just PS3.
Yeah,
it was just PS3 then, and yeah, it wasn't. No,
so the jump like that from then till now, and Nvidia being a huge conglomerate, my man's just sitting at like number 9 for like richest person in the world. Number 9, something like that. Number 9 for richest person in the world, and number 2 for best businessman of the year behind Elon Musk. So that's how crazy that is. But just even thinking about just the stuff that they've accomplished over that time, it makes me wonder if Sony and Microsoft will try and move to that same team at some point.
Can they?
I don't think they can, because it'll be number one, it'll be admitting defeat. Number 2, they probably had long-term deals with AMD as well.
Yeah,
it's just I'll say this: the sincerest form of flattery is PSSR.
Yeah,
that's them conceding, like, hey, like, maybe this, maybe throwing all these teraflops at things are not doing it. Because developers aren't doing it. They don't know what to do with it. So it's not the thing that everybody thought that you needed to. Also, all flops aren't flops. So comparing them is, depending on the game anyway, it can be pointless. So it's just one of those things where you have to figure that the chase that you're trying to give was, hey, we need full rasterization on everything that's on screen right now, right? So we need all the pixels. We're gonna throw more pixels at everything because rasterization has limits. They actually knew this during the PS4 generation, which is why like certain games were not 1080p, even though the whole point of those systems were that the 7th generation systems couldn't do 1080p. So they started having like non 1080p games in that generation. And I mean, you kind of already saw it when PS5 came out, and I'm like, one of your premier games is 1080p. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
So they're conceding, like, right now. They know that that's an issue. So what you're going to have to do is have games, depending on what game it is or whatever, have a low resolution, like 720p or 900p or something like that, and then have that upscaled somehow, because they just can't do it. The frame times are too high. And now Nintendo has been doing that all this time, because they're like, hey, we got 2 profiles, and what we're not going to do is spend the majority of our time working on a docked version. I mean, the docked version works great. It works great, but we're focusing on the mobile version because that's the key focus of the platform. So if you get great dock performance, great. If it still looks as bad as it did on mobile, great. Like that's kind of where Nintendo was on that. So now you literally have an answer, because you're like, hey, that thing that's like 480p or 360p, or in some cases 240p on playing on docked or whatever. Well, now that can be upscaled to something that rivals an HD image or above an HD image. So and it looks better than the upscaling techniques that they're already using. So and Nintendo's already been testing it in other games, like they're in their what was it, Nintendo Switch Sports, and it was a couple other games they were using.
I remember it
They
on
don't really
Switch
use-
Sports.
They're just testing FSR, and they're like, "Hey, we're using the thing you're using. We're using that. We have something better, but we're just going to play with that, so you can see we're doing it." And I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting." So, but that's just them getting their foot in the door, so they can know what to do when this system launches. Basically, there will be no shortage of games for the Switch successor. That much I will say.
Oh yeah,
they have been stacking a lot
for sure.
It's funny that you said that Sony, has is it PSSR? PSSR?
Yeah, PSSR.
Yeah,
I don't know why they're calling it DLS. It's not DLS. They're not the same at all.
No.
Close.
But
PSSR is screen space. It's not every pixel.
It's funny that they've switched over to that, right? Because the consensus of Sony fanboys would be like, get the Switch 2 and say it does have DLSS is like, oh, well, the PS5 Pro, we already have our own form of DLSS, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, wait a minute. But y'all didn't need that, though, right?
That's what I thought.
Because you had the grunt work already.
You had to say 8K back there. Somewhere it says 8K. So it don't need it. Like
that was my whole thing. They just sold you a $700 console after they told you they didn't need any of what they just gave you. Like I don't know. Like I said, if you love it, love it. If you traded in your PS5 for it, fantastic. I'm just not going to pay $700 after I got lied to. I'm just not doing it.
Here's the cherry on top, Jack. That $700 console still don't give you 8K. Like it gives you 8K in one game.
And then now you see more videos now of like, oh, this game actually runs worse on the Pro. I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah. It's crazy how the Xbox One X is now competing with the PS5 Pro better than it was competing with the PS5.
Wow. That's wild. Developers over here like we got 10 gigs around. Work with it, bro. We got it. We're gonna do this 1440p. We're gonna do this 1080p.
Yeah, that's blowing my mind, man. And they really and Sony fans are really fighting over this kind of stuff, bro. That's just the cut scene. Why we're waiting until it gets into the gameplay? I'm looking at the gameplay. It's looking better on the Xbox. What happened?
Right.
Just wait for the update. The update hasn't come yet.
Oh, why? Why? I paid for it already.
But the games get ported to PC, and whether you have an SSD or not, the game works. So.
Gracious. But I will say, I wanted to say a hot take on here, and I have to do a video for it because I mentioned I was going to do it on my latest video. Mm-hmm. I think if all comes to fruition, like everybody claims it will, and which they've kind of said anyway, so it's not a hot take in a way, but when PlayStation does their handheld eventually, because they said it's down the line, so I'm saying maybe if it's not the PS6, it's going to be partnered with. But when Xbox does theirs, I think that would be the better handheld compared to Sony. And
what? I kind of agree with that.
And the reason why I say this, and it was kind of something I hinted at in my video, Xbox has really gone on this, we want you to play everywhere thing. This is where they've been for a while now, especially when we're talking about cloud gaming and Game Pass. The one thing that's hurting both Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Legion Go, all these handheld PCs, the UIs, along with the games you can play. So like when you look at the Steam Deck, people don't realize a lot of games you can't play, whether it's like, what's it called? Nodo, the little hack software. Like if that's built into the game, you're not playing that game. If you're on Epic or if you're on any other launcher outside of Steam, you're not playing that game. So that's a problem in itself. And when you look at Windows handhelds, that's because Windows is just Windows, and it some days it works, some days it doesn't work. It can be. I've updated my ROG Ally one day, and it pretty much just tanked my ROG Ally. I had to wait for another update from AMD to fix my ROG Ally. Like Windows, they got to figure it out. But I feel like Microsoft coming in with the Windows aspect of it, and I feel like they're going to have like a custom Windows base or a custom OS for this, having their own UI. So now it's like, okay, our first party games are on PC already. The third party games are on PC already. So in reality, here is everything. We fixed the UI so you don't have to tinker with nothing. I think that's where they went out. They went out by starting to create custom profiles for a lot of these games, or have AI do it for you, because that is the bigger issue with PC. Really, if I want to pick up a game today for my ROG Ally, I hesitate until I go to ROG Ally Life. It's a website, and see if they figured it out, to see if they tinkered with it, and if they give it 4 or 5 stars, I'll buy it. But if they say it's 3 stars and below, and you gotta switch the RAM, you gotta switch, this, that, and I'm not touching it. And so I think that's where Xbox can truly win, if they have, whether it's AI or if they have a way to have, everything be bought from one area, kind of similar to if you look at Google TV. Even though you have Disney, you have Netflix, you have Hulu, whatever, all of it is on that home page. I don't have to go and fish for where something's at. I can say, hey, Google, blah, 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 and they'll tell you, oh, it's on these streaming services where you want to watch it. So that works better. And then on top of that, like I said, with these profiles, other than what Steam was doing or Valve was doing with this, verification, which is almost like they stopped doing it, because they don't really do it anymore. And even if a game isn't verified, doesn't mean that it doesn't work. So it's something that you kind of started in good faith, but you just didn't finish it.
Right.
That's why I feel like they're going to have a pretty nice handheld, because by the time they release it, I'm pretty sure they would have figured it out. They got the team right there. I mean, they are Windows. So they got the team right there, the Surface team. Get that figured out, get that ironed out. That way you don't have to go through Windows. And then pretty much you have everything you can play, even PlayStation games, because they're going to PC too.
I think it's the UI more for them, because there's nothing like opening the Xbox and you just got a giant fucking barcode.
Yes, sir.
It syncs your account, and knows everything, and it moves everything over. Like that is insane. I haven't seen anything like that forward thinking, like as far as console setup ever. So like if they have a portable and you open it up and it's that exact same thing, and then everything, once it's done with that process, everything that's on your Xbox is on that handheld.
Yes, sir.
Everything that's on your PC is on that handheld.
It's already there.
Live account everywhere. There's handoff everywhere you go. You got smart delivery going back and forth between each system that you're playing on. It doesn't matter what screen you're on. They might have Nintendo licked on that one. Honestly, I think they would be the biggest competitor instead of Sony. Or like I had a conversation earlier today. Well, actually, past couple of days in YouTube comments of all places, where they're saying like the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck and all these other PCs or whatever, they're eating in Nintendo's turf, and that's why Nintendo sales were low. And I'm like, it's the 8th year, number one. Like this is going to happen no matter what. Right? So the sales are going to end up like, who else is buying a Switch? Like there's like 3 collectors, and then one dies, so somebody buys one to replace it or whatever. Right? But the fervor or whatever of people going out saying, "Hey, I need that," blah blah blah. That's gone now. Yeah. So until there's new games and a new system or whatever for the new games, that's not going to happen. I don't think. Right. And I was trying to explain that. I'm like, these guys are not a threat like that. Steam Deck getting however many million that they don't want to announce for whatever reason, systems out there or whatever, like. And ROG Ally, like you could probably add all them together, and it's probably still less than the Switch Lite. Like, and the Switch Lite is the least selling version of a Nintendo Switch that right today, right? I did not think the OLED would get out there and jump up like that, but it did. It took off. Yeah, it jumped up there. It's the best selling version of the Switch right now. That's crazy. So, that being said, I think it could be Microsoft. I think it could be them. They could do a real big comeback because
they're in a good spot to do so.
They have the ecosystem set to where it's literally like wherever you go, it's this thing. Nintendo has a device that does that, but Microsoft has the software that does that. So the only thing you're missing really is going to be the game library, really. Yeah. But if you're talking about all your old Xbox 360 stuff, all your that's the system.
So quick question, because that just popped up when you mentioned like the old Xbox games, because they have been working on that for a while. Is there a way, or are you going to have to dual boot this thing to kind of marry the console and PC games, if you will, because you know how they have it split now to where not every PC Game Pass game is on console and vice versa. Like if I have a PC, I can go even further back if there is a PC version of that game, to where with Xbox is only what they were able to pull off.
I think it's whatever you go log on the PC Xbox app with and go into Game Pass. That's what you could play on the other platforms.
Right.
But if you try to go back and you're like, hey, Microsoft did this really weird port of Halo 1 and Halo 2 to Windows, nah, you ain't getting that.
Right.
But I want the Mac version. I want the Mac anniversary version of Halo 1. Not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Not happening.
Yeah. I mean, the ball is in their court. Like, yeah, they got to get the software. They have to get the exclusive together. Like, we agree on that. It's just, if I came to you with this beast of a handheld that looked good, felt good, the UI was good, and I told you I can play PS5 games, I can play Xbox games, play PC games, and I always keep forgetting they're in that mobile camp too. So let's throw some mobile games on there, because honestly, I didn't even know until I ran into it today. I went on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has games on their premium subscription. So and then we always Netflix has it too, and they're not like like bad games. Like Shadow said, like all GTA trilogy is on Netflix. Like, so I mean, they have good games on Netflix. Like I have them on my Odin too. Like just pick them up and play them, and it's very easy. So with them owning King, like they could really turn this into a mobile / console / PC situation. And I would say close it off, because even though PC is like open source, it kind of runs into your issues of the problems we have now with ROG Ally. I would say find a way to make that close off in a way. But I think the ball is in their court. It really is. And then you add cloud into that. I don't know how you go the route of having service outside of your house. But I mean, if they want to partner with Verizon like they're currently doing now, I mean, who's to say that they don't?
Yeah. And I can only imagine Nintendo with Microsoft's
that would be a serious problem.
Not infrastructure, but their interface, their not even just the interface, just the ecosystem. Nintendo's, they're working their way to build whatever they have now. They're working that way, but if they already had one, now granted, it took a lot of work. Like this isn't something. Microsoft stuff wasn't perfect, and it took a lot of screwdrivers on the back end to fix a lot of stuff. There's a lot of janky Xbox One to Xbox 360 backwards compatibility stuff that still hasn't been fixed. Like it's just like Xbox One game works directly on Series S. We're not even going to try the other layer of backwards compatibility that we did, because there were two completely different architectures at the time, and leave that alone. Like there's a lot of stuff that they had to work through to get to where they are right now. And Nintendo's just starting, because they're like, our last effort was, look, man, it was DS, Wii, and parts of Wii U. Like, nah, they're starting over and doing their first, like, this is our real multifaceted approach at a tailored ecosystem that any device can sign into. Yeah. And they're going to have growing pains just like Microsoft did. But Microsoft's been doing it for almost 20 years now. So, if Nintendo had the chops and had those kind of people on staff, like to build that same kind of ecosystem, man, it'd be a rough ride. Yep. I would say they have the market, honestly, to be honest with you. But right now, it looks like everybody has a good piece of the pie. I think. Sony has ponies. Microsoft has a great infrastructure and setup, and then they eventually will have some really good first party games. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, that's when Nintendo gets them every time. So even though they have the best infrastructure, the software is not there yet.
And that's the other thing I was saying too. Like, it doesn't matter what the quote unquote performance is for Nintendo's games, because you just say Zelda and people show up. So it's not even, and that's not even at like it started from a game quality level, right? It like, hey, this is a really good NES game, right? Right. It became a brand now. So like the quality is already assumed just by Zelda TM being there. Like it's there. So you already think all the things when you see that name. So they have a catalog of so many franchises now where it is automatically assumed what type of experience that you're going to get. And I think that's something that is troubling Microsoft and Sony to no end. As much as they try to say, hey, look, we have these big, vast experiences, blah, 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 blah. You're like, God of War, which one? The one where you can jump or the one where you can't? Which you know what I mean? And you're like, hey, what about Sackboy? Well, they don't really fuck with him no more. So now it's Astro Bot. Like what like what are we doing here? So they don't really have a consistent brand that says this is what we are as Sony or this is what we are as Xbox. It used to be Halo, but like I don't know what's going on with that. He should always be the flag bearer for Xbox.
Yeah,
like,
should never been questioned. Yeah.
They spent all that money because I'm gonna keep it slick with you. In 1999, it was real close. Apple was about to buy them, so it was real close.
Sony?
No. Oh wow, I keep trying to say Valve for some reason. No.
343.
Not 343. Who was 343 before that? Bungie.
Oh, Bungie.
So yeah, they were gonna buy them because they wanted Myth. This was before Halo was even a thing. Like, so they were really wanting that. And Microsoft was like, yeah, come on over. We like this strategy game y'all working on. And they're like, hey, we need a game for Xbox. Turn it into a first-person shooter. And the rest is history. So
yeah. So I mean, this is gonna be a very interesting year or two that's getting ready to come up. So I mean, let's not forget this all because of Nintendo.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they everybody had to rush everything because of them.
The hybrid
had no rushing systems. Switch got no rushing systems. It just
the little hybrid they could, boy. I tell you,
that boy was pushing.
I'll say this too. If the Switch wasn't successful, do you really think there wouldn't be I don't think there would have been a Steam Deck at all. But even if the Steam Deck did come out, don't you think there would have been a Steam Deck 2 by now?
Right. They're definitely waiting on that, huh?
Because the fact that the ROG Ally came out after the Steam Deck and we already got an ROG Ally X.
Yep.
Like there's already a second iteration to the device. Like granted they needed it because you can't even use SD cards with the thing because of where they placed it, which was stupid. But it's like I can't even use my SD card. I had to get a 2 terabyte NVM drives for me to actually like expand my memory because I can't use my SD cards.
Wow.
But Legion Go is here and everything else. But yeah, we would have never seen Steam Deck. I think they would have continued to try to do the whole Steam console.
What was it? Steam console? Yeah.
You think ROG would have done it? I know Win was before Nintendo Switch. They've been doing it.
Yeah, they still doing it to this day. Like they got one that looks like a PSP. Like GPD's still out here making them. Now I don't think the A and Neos and all of them would have been doing it, but
the popularity is the popularity in there with GPD though?
Because
I think it kind of went away from them after Steam Deck and ROG.
Steam Deck took it away from them, but then also too, it's because Valve has something that can do something that GPD can't do. They can subsidize their costs.
Yes.
Like if you're paying for that GPD, like GPD, you're paying for every bit of that handheld. you're not skimping on that. Like Valve can eat that cost. GPD can't do that.
I think that's the other thing too. Like Nintendo has this thing where they build their hardware around how they make games. And I think that's another thing that my followers understand, but nobody else really gets it. And so I keep running into people having these conversations and talking about specs and you need this and you need that. And I'm like, Nintendo doesn't. Oh, that's because Nintendo makes weak games. I'm like, nah, it's because their entire SDK, they know how it works in and out. Their hardware, they know how it works in and out because they built the SDK to work with the hardware. So anytime they talk to the hardware, they know they're getting the best performance. And I would imagine that if you're a third-party developer, you would do what Nintendo did on their hardware to make it sing like they do. But it's just another thing. And I I feel that I don't think the other two really do that as well. I think they think about the hardware first because they want the speeds and feeds to be announced when they announce the platform, and they don't think about why. I think the why is an afterthought, and they just say developers go.
Yeah,
and it's just a thing where, well, okay, now what we do with all this? And they're like, well, I don't know. Leave all those extra cores unused on Xbox Series X, which is literally happening right now.
Right.
There's shaders not being used on that damn thing because
That's
who's the
crazy.
lead platform for the 4K games is PS5.
Yeah.
It has less shaders, so they get ported over to Series and nothing's happening. They're just sitting there spinning. So it's just one of those things where, like, and I know Microsoft spent a lot of money on the XDK, but they also have the Series S, which they have to do the smart delivery with to go back and forth and all that. So it's just one of those things where they didn't have like, hey, this is our one platform. This is how you literally write to the metal for it. Just use our SDK and you get the best performance out of it if you do this thing. It's not really a thing. It's more like a buffer in between true performance. Like back in the day, you used to be able to do interrupts to basically take over RAM, so you get instant response from what you're trying to ask for, a code. And that's not a thing anymore on any of the platforms except for maybe Nintendo's. And I feel like, yeah, Sony's gone away from that too. With maybe Naughty Dog, maybe they're able to do it. But please believe, Rockstar don't care.
No.
They're like, hey, we got our PC target, and we'll throw our game on your console, and if it don't run well, I mean, we'll sponsor a Digital Foundry. We don't care.
Wait till Digital Foundry hears about this.
Right.
We don't care if everybody just recommends the PC version. We don't care. Because we're GTA now. We're our own thing. We make an announcement whatever we want. So,
yeah,
you know, I think that if Sony and Microsoft actually they saw Astrobot work, right? Now find out why it worked. Like, go back to like, hey, there's a small group of people that are really good at making X, right? They're really good at making this one thing without spending a lot of money, and you get a lot of return on writing this little code here, not having infinitely different assets all across the board. Reuse some assets because you're talking about a robot, right? There's going to be a lot of grays, a lot of metal that's going to repeat over and over again, right? And just have different responses because if you have different reflection, right, it's a different experience because you turn the camera a certain way. So it almost looks like it's different all the time. So do things like that where you make a smaller game, smaller as in file size, and you're able to have a better experience because you fine tune that one little thing.
Yep.
And I for the life of me, like the third part, just game developers at large, the ones that talk the most anyway, they can't seem to wrap their head around this shit. They won't do it. And I'm like, you know, gamers don't really care, right? Like, you say all this stuff, and only the most brain dead people will really just fall over and drool over themselves about that. They want to be able to buy a game. They want to be able to buy a game, play it, have fun with it, and be done with it, and talk to their friends about it and recommend it. That's it. They don't care about, oh, well, look at this one pixel here. Look at it move over here. Like, how is that going to look in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? Nobody cares. But is the game fun?
Yeah.
I still play Eternal Darkness to this day. That's 480.
Right.
So,
well, I tell you.
Side note, I think it was Dark Void that said that needs to be a live action.
A live what?
A live action movie.
Oh, live action? Oh. Man.
They figure if they can figure out 4D for commercial theaters, that'll go off the chain. I had legitimate nightmares about that movie. Something touched me. I swore it did.
Oh man.
Yeah. So 2024 overall on a retrospective. If I can get each of y'all little opinions about how you felt about 2024 so far, not even as a review, just thoughts out of mind.
For me, it was a bit disappointing. There were games I was looking for that got pushed, kind of like Deca Police. Like, I was really looking forward to that game.
Oh, that game is out, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's not out. It got pushed.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
it got pushed to next year.
Wow.
So we didn't get that. Sparking Zero for me, that hurt my heart so bad, man. I was I was so hyped for that game. That kind of hurt my spirit a little bit. I will say the thing that really took my 2024 up higher was just this last push from VR. It was really a great push with some great games at good prices, because when we start seeing $50 games show up, I was like, y'all doing too much. Like, back it off. I'm not like, until I know for a fact you can give me a $50 game on VR, don't do that. But they did really good with the releases, and there's still some that are set to come out. But all in all, I wasn't too excited for this year. I don't have anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I experienced that this year, other than Batman. So I think I'm holding off until next year. Sparking Zero is not a bad game. It's just, I think the hype was too high. And then also too, when you talk about the gameplay itself, it takes a lot to even get decent, and God forbid master. It just wasn't, even like when I was playing it with my kids and playing with my cousins, like it just didn't feel the same. It was just it was what it was. But ultimately this year, thanks to VR, was a decent one. But I'm just looking forward to next year, and hopefully we get the Nintendo of old, or the regular Nintendo rather, to where they come with something of how you play different. Because honestly, at this point, it's just, the Joy-Con thing, I feel like didn't work out the way they intended. Because there's not a lot of things using HD rumble, not really using Joy-Con, or even that IR camera at the bottom of it. Like
the IR scanner,
the features were not at that crazy level per se. It was more of like, how else do you play the game? Whether it was tabletop, handheld, or on a TV, that's cool. Don't get me wrong. But I'm looking for that Wii U type of way of playing, because we forced you to play with a remote control and a stick, and then Wii U was like, here's a gamepad with isometrical gaming. This one was just, hey, do you want to play it in your hands, or you want to play on the TV? So not as big, but I want to see what they do next, and hopefully they blow our socks off with this successor.
Okay. What about you, Shadow?
Man, same thing. But pretty much this year just kind of like proved everything that I've been stumping on my soapbox for the longest time. Like, everything has come to a head. So we've officially seen, well, the rest of the world has finally seen what diminishing returns looks like. Been saying this forever, but Miyamoto said it forever, and Satoru Iwata said it forever. But now everybody's actually seeing now that diminishing returns are here. And you're spending all this money for these consoles. You're buying SSDs to put in here to store games, but you clown the Switch for having 32 gigs of space. And I'm like, those games are a fraction of the size. Also, it runs carts, so it doesn't need to install games. It's just a whole nother scenario. But basically, I hate saying it, but being proven right. Like, I don't want to be Cat Williams of video games, but he also said 2024 was going to be like this. So but now everybody's seeing it. They're tired. They're tired of these long install times. These consoles are supposed to be so fast. Like, we shouldn't have these long install times. We shouldn't have these long download times either. But if the game file sizes keep getting larger, and the majority of people don't have gigabit or gigabit plus Ethernet or whatever, or internet, what have you, this is what you're going to deal with. And now we've pushed the buck from, hey, this game can't run this way, to push it off and let AI do it, or let some other kind of subroutine upscale the original image, which, to me, it's the same excuse as dynamic resolution was in the 8th generation. So now you got, hey, this game, every 7 frames or so, it'll be 240p. You won't know it, but, hey, man, Tekken moves real fast. So, you don't know that it just downgraded a frame like really, really low, but frame time was high, so this is what we had to do. And now everything's being upscaled, and we're literally up here trying to compare what the upscaling techniques are, instead of acknowledging that, hey, we're probably wrong about rasterization in the first place, and maybe we shouldn't be doing this to begin with. And the upscaling is a fix for that problem.
Right.
And then chasing things we didn't need to chase, like ray tracing. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And it's not even. My thing is, okay, if you complain, you know, say you're a fake Digital Foundry site, and you're going to say, hey, look, I don't like that this game doesn't have dynamic shadows. I looked over here and I see a baked shadow, and I'm like, but you're praising baked rendering as real rendering. You're praising baked in ray tracing on some parts of whatever is being rendered, and you're praising that as somehow being great. Like, if it's not full ray tracing, if there's not ray cast across the entire scene, like, why are we calling it ray tracing to begin with? It's rasterization, and you're emulating what ray tracing would look like. You're emulating that, and it's not even accurate. It's a simulation. Like, so.
Right.
That's my thing. Like, just say that. Just say that's what it is. And for the life of me, the only place I could find that directly stated is in NVIDIA's documents in the SDK. That's it. They'll tell you. They're like, hey, our tensor cores, they do ray tracing and stuff, and our RT cores do ray tracing, and but the ray tracing is an approximation of what a ray cast will look like across the scene. Like, they actually say it. And I'm like, why isn't this a thing already said by the quote unquote technical wizards that happen to have press jobs or, have real strange relationships with gaming press? I feel like those experts should say those things out loud.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the year that we're having. As far as games go, man, fuck that shit. I play Street Fighter 4. That game is great. Like,
you played older games this year. Like,
yes,
you really did, because for whatever reason, ray tracing was supposed to be that thing that, one, you can't even identify unless you know what it is, and then two, you gotta stop playing the game to even identify it. So it's like, what did it do different for your game? Like, you told me the game ran smoother this year because of the consoles. Cool. Like Shadow said, my load times were faster. If they were just non-existent, that's bettering my experience. Ray tracing, nothing for my gaming experience if it even existed.
Because it does nothing for the game. It just sits there and looks pretty.
They gave you another hit word for you to argue about, and you don't even recognize it.
Right. You don't even really know what it is.
At least in Splinter Cell back in the day, when they had shadow volumes and stuff like that, it actually had a gameplay aspect, because certain parts of shadows that you're in or whatever, it'll affect whether you were able to be visible or not. And they were able to fake that in other versions of the game, because the PS2 version couldn't do it, and they ported the PS2 version to GameCube. Still up in the air whether GameCube could do it or not. But at least that had a purpose. So you're like, hey, these really nice shadows over here is not just for look. Go in that shadow and hide. It does a thing. Also,
I forgot about that.
Also, it's dynamic. So if somebody comes around with a light or something, light bounces around and it changes the shape of the shadow. Now you got to go somewhere else. So like, it's just one of those things. And they didn't. I don't think the quote unquote, these are all gimmicks, right? But they aren't even attempting. They're not even trying to sell the gimmick to you. They're just saying, they're doing the thing where they're doing the appeal to authority fallacy, is saying, hey, look at the technical guys over here who says that it's impressive, and we have that thing in our box. Go. Right. And I'm like, well, but what? I'm going to play a game. What is that going to do? It's going to look pretty, and then what? Like, because I could just look at CGI in a movie that looks better than that.
Right.
If I'm just gonna not interact with it. So what?
Well, exactly.
What are we doing? Like, I don't understand. What's the point of any of this if I can't? That was one of the big issues I had about this year, and a lot of the quote unquote the schoolyard fights on Twitter and elsewhere and whatnot. And I'm really getting to the point where I think I'm going to join the rest of the they call them liberals or whatever, but I'm going to join Blue Sky. I think I might end up staying there for real because it's getting to the point where it's like I have to mute too many people, and it's getting to the point where like you're not even arguing in good faith. You don't want to learn anything. You just want to repeat the thing because Nintendo can't win.
Yeah, I just had a conversation like that.
And what's so crazy is in these conversations, the dude is like, no, this, and this, or whatever. And Steam Deck is better, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you over here sucking off PlayStation. So why are you bringing up Steam Deck? And then I start saying the good things about Steam Deck and why I like it. And then there's crickets. The conversation is over with.
Yeah. Right.
Like, but I was talking about how great Steam Deck is now. Aren't you jumping on this with me? Oh, no. You were just using it as an other because the whole point was to say Nintendo can't win. I'm like, what? I don't. Really don't get why people think I don't own these other systems. It's really strange to me.
That's the key thing. Because when you go and say you're just using it as an argumentative piece, I own it. I can tell you why this is not matching up the way you think it will.
And it's funny that because obviously we had the same conversation with the same person, but it's funny that I brought up the conversation of Unreal and 5 because somebody was talking about the whole Matrix demo or whatever, and I was like, and basically said to the fact that like if at this point if it has Unreal Engine 5, it could run the Matrix demo regardless. It doesn't need it doesn't need any of that. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to port to the highest PC all the way down to the lowest cell phone. Well, you've got to realize that there's targets and blah 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 da da da. Okay, then you change for those targets then. Right. But they can't do this because you need this specifically. But I don't think you understand that part about the Switch being a 9-watt system, and none of those games were supposed to play in the first place. So even what you're saying doesn't even compute on the last system. And I'm like, I got plenty of examples if you want to talk about the impossible ports that we had. So like, so what are we really talking about here? How you want to move the goalposts? Because even when you move the goalposts, you're still wrong. Like
it don't work. Like what was the last post? The last post I just put on before this was just a short list of 60 frame per second games that Nintendo themselves has made. Because the big talking point is Nintendo can't even make 30 frames per second games because they haven't struggling on their own system. I'm like, no, they're not.
No.
At launch they were making 60 frames per second games. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. But all in all, I mean, we know the Nintendo narrative is going to be what it wants to be. PlayStation crowd and Xbox crowd wants Nintendo to be them. I don't understand why. You already got your console. You claim you have what you need from Nintendo.
I love Nintendo games, though. I love Nintendo. I just wish they would do better. Then you don't love it.
Mean? Like,
what do you mean? I want them to have the same performance as PlayStation. Okay, so when those games come out for the Nintendo platform and the PlayStation, are you going to drop the PlayStation and play those versions on the Nintendo version? Nah. Oh. Okay. What is this again? What is this about?
No. And then, like I said, I get for most people, they want to buy one thing and have everything. Sorry, that's not the world we live in.
But some of them though is ego. Because just I hate to say this, I don't want to bring this back again, but back to the bashing of Wii U.
Yeah.
At the time, there was no PS4 and there was no Xbox One. Every excuse under the fucking sun, excuse my French, to somehow come up with well, it should run better. It's these are old platforms that came out in 2006, and I'm gonna wait for the Orbis and the Xbox One. Okay, all right. So when Nintendo had the more capable hardware at the time, when they didn't have to deal with some of the stuff that was going on 360 and PS3, like so you now it's a thing. Now you don't. Now when you got ports coming to Wii U and they're like, hey, we're using the PC version assets in this game, and you're like, I don't care about the better version. Now space don't matter, right?
Right.
Now it's about sales. But then when Nintendo gets a sale, graphics, they gotta have the better performance. And I'm like, yeah, Nintendo had a better performance for multiple generations. Actually, like if you Wii U, arguably GameCube, if you talk about raw or polygon drop performance, and amount of textures per pass or what have you, and then N64. So like, what do we? They had that, right? And then, so did you run to go play versions of third-party games on those platforms if they existed at all? Because third-party, like, they like their check and they want to go to whoever pays them the most to put a game on their platform. So
right,
and Nintendo's not cutting checks like this. So if you get it, it's going to be a cheap port. So even if Nintendo had the most powerful hardware, right, these ports are not going to be that good. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. Like this system that comes out right now, right? Upscaling will be the only thing that will make these games look good from these third-party publishers. I'm just going to say that right now, unless Nintendo helps with development and helps fund it.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say it because they're going to cheap out at launch because they have to be there because Switch is market leader, right? So they can't get caught slipping. So they're going to support, right? But it's going to be the most minor support possible. Nintendo knows it. They anticipate it. So they're going to make sure they have their catalog of games because they're not going to get caught like they got caught with Wii U. But I don't know. No. It'll be the worst version of GTA 6. It'll be the worst version of Call of Duty. I promise you. I promise you.
And it'll be the hardware's fault.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. Absolutely will be. That's just how it's going to go, man. I've seen this way too many times to know that it's not going to be any different. And you'll blame the hardware manufacturer every single time, but when an issue happens on, I don't know, any other platform, now it's, we need a patch.
Right.
That's the way it works, man. So I didn't mean to turn your podcast to a shoutcast, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, I love it. I love it. So for me, 2024, I said this earlier, and that's how I got led into this whole thing, is that 2024 was more of an opportunistic year, because I think the games weren't really that great. And realistically, I only picked up 2, which was Eiyuden Chronicles at the beginning of the year and Black Myth. And I enjoy Black Myth, but I mean, it doesn't do anything spectacularly new. It's just a solid game. But yeah, this was like the save your money year, right? Get your bread up because 2025 is coming.
So you didn't get Unicorn Overlord?
I played the demo and wanted to pick it up, but I'm like, I gotta stay tight. I did
get that, and I did get Stellar Blade. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So between the both of us, we both got 2 games in the year.
Yep. We can do our game of the year. I guess we know what the game of the year is going to be because there's not too much to choose from.
Right. So, but yeah. So I mean, is looking on to the next year. I think we're gonna have a lot of other games that are gonna be exciting. I know a lot of people have given it criticism, but I'm still legitimately excited for the Midnight game that Xbox doing. Something till midnight or something like that.
Oh yes, that game looks great.
Yeah, the stop motion joint. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't. At this point, I would say that it's not. It can't do too much wrong to me. Just for the simple fact that it's an aesthetic, right? It's a style that hasn't. I don't ever actually recall stop motion ever in a game that I can think of.
Yeah, so they did the Wallace and Gromit. It was like the Xbox Live Arcade, and it was Wii. What was the Wii Arcade thing called? It like because in the like the Walking Dead and those other kind of episodic games on there.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the name of it, but then but they did a version of that game on there. And that's the only thing I've really seen like that. So, South of Midnight was the name of the
South of Midnight. Yes, thank you, Brand Smith. Appreciate it.
I like what I saw there, so I'm highly interested in that game.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that game to come out. You know, like the Perfect Darks and all that other stuff. We'll see if those games actually come out. But yeah, just that game in particular. Obviously, Metroid Prime. Next Pokemon joint. I always say it wrong. Is it Z Alpha or Alpha Z or something like that? ZA. That's what.
I don't know. Like I don't understand the naming for this, and I don't know. It's Pokemon.
So
is it really Z Alpha? How do you?
I think it's because we're going back into the XY time, right? And you remember Pokemon used to always have 3 games with it. So you would get the first 2 together, and then a year would pass, and then you would get the 3rd game. We never got that for X and Y. So the Z is supposed to be the Zygarde, but I don't know how Alpha fits into that and why they call it ZA.
But that's going to be a crossover, so it'll be another 2 games again, I guess. And that's how it'll go. That's just so strange. Pokemon Legends ZA.
Yeah, Legends ZA. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, it said worldwide in 2025. We'll see. Luminos City. I don't know how to pronounce that. Luminos City. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, for this year, to me, it was more of catching up on backlog. Playing Killer Instinct when I can, Anniversary Edition. Yeah, y'all should probably download that on Steam because I think it's on sale right now too. I did get the updated version of Shin Megami Tensei. I did get that.
Vengeance.
Yes. So I'm gonna recommend that too.
Did you play the original?
Yes. Yes.
Is it that much better?
So there's extra content, but other than that, they just kind of like speed the gameplay up, and then there's more harder encounters. Definitely. Okay. So and there's different modes and stuff. So but I would recommend that still, even if you played the OG game all the way to the end or what have you.
Okay.
Went back and did your replay, because you should play through it again because there's other stuff that you're missing.
Like you got to play it at least 3 times, right? Yeah. Okay.
And those endings are the endings are pretty cool too. So I would recommend that for people. And other than that, like you said, this year is kind of like filler more than anything else. Is more kind of like ghost announcements and people just kind of waiting to see what Nintendo's going to do. And Nintendo's like, we ain't doing nothing. We ain't got to do anything. We'll do it when we want to on a Sunday night, probably.
Right. And don't worry, I'll wait.
Yeah, and that'll be it. They're like, you will see Rooftop Karen when we show you Rooftop Karen. That's just gonna be it. That's all you're gonna get. So, I think it's more the anticipation for that, and I think that's why everybody's kind of like holding their horses. The only people who had to do something was probably Sony, and that's just they can't see. Anytime they anticipate Nintendo's going to be like, "Hey, we have better graphics." No, we can't. We have a new platform now. No, don't do the thing. No,
right.
Because that was the whole situation where Switch launched, and they're like, "Hey, so all those PS4 ports they can come over now," and they're like, "Well, we got PS4 Pro." Okay. PS4 Pro, the PS4 Pro ports can come over too, I guess. Like, it was just one of those things, man. And for me, I think the third party developers too need to start stepping their game up, and the people whoever the front men are that come up to do these interviews and stuff like that, they need to get questioned and grilled a little bit more because they're not in good faith either. They're there to advertise the game in any way, shape, or form, and they will downplay anything else if it helps their venture. So,
especially if it's from a specific mark or from a specific firm or podcast or
Yep.
what have you.
I'm done with the gimmicks and talking points. I want to know who the parent company of your publisher is. I want to know if y'all about to do a merger and why. I want to know, how long your game development time is. Did y'all ever have scope creep during your project? Like that kind of stuff. So it's just little things for people to
Well,
know,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at 2 hours and 45 minutes. I love when these go longer because these are the ones that I actually like listen to at work and take my time. So I thank you, Shadow. Thank you, Jack, for being on. Vito, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you, Vito. Thank you, Vito. Thank you to all my moderators, Geronimo, Jay, Exodia, Bryn Smith. Who came in first? Who was in here before everybody else? Dark Void, Square, appreciate you coming through. Joycey was the first person to show up today. That's what's up. Thank you so much.
support.
Yeah, RJ, thank you. We're gonna get Risky. He gonna come back. Don't worry. They've been missing Risky.
That's an entertaining character for sure.
Yeah, he's been real silent. Before we get out of here, Shadow, you want to throw anything out?
Oh no, you know how it is. Channel dead, man. Channel dead. That's all I say. That's all I gotta say about that, and then we'll go from there. Y'all see stuff whenever I get done doing what I'm doing.
All right, Vito, what you got?
A verse every Friday, variants every Thursday.
All right. So for me, I just want to give you guys a heads up. We're gonna have something like completely new styled for the beginning of the year. Letting you guys know now so you are prepared for when January comes around. Also, we are going to have in the end of December like our big final 2024 as a review. So that's when we try and get as many people on the podcast as possible. So we'll see how that one goes as well. I believe tomorrow there is a Winging It podcast, right? Because we didn't have it.
I believe so.
Okay, so Winging It podcast at 7:00, where you can find all of us Winging It brothers and Vicky too, Winging It trolling sister, on there as well. And then 7:00 on Monday is the Juices Loose podcast, which I may or may not be there, but I should be there. So other than that, thank you guys so much for coming through. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out because that always helps us. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to come subscribe to the Sandstorm channel as well as the other channels that you can find in our description below. All right, we'll see you guys later. Peace.